What's up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video, and it's your favorite segment, my favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment, where we take a look at the DSP Gaming, DSP Reacts / DSP Throwbacks, financial information. That's right, folks. This is the video once a week where we go through and run down the numbers of our boy Phil's finances. One, to make sure that the liquidity is on point, and also to hold Pig Roach accountable. And spoiler alert, folks, those OneMinuteMan tips are definitely hurting our boy Phil. The tips this week were just abysmal. And OIC, wherever you are, I know you tried to step up this week, but we need more of that. Because if we don't get more of that, Phil may need to do a going out of business stream soon. So let's take a look at the numbers. Let's not forget, folks, these are just simply gross numbers for the tips, super chats that DSP received during the work week for his 3 channels. So this week started off on 4/26 and extended through 5/1, and as you can see here, Phil made $728, but we have to remove $250 for the chargebacks. That's right, the chargeback detractors were in full effect, and they were hitting Phil where it hurts him most, and that's the PayPal tips. So essentially this week Phil made $478. Now what I did was I adjusted the money on the daily tips to account for the $250 loss. Phil reported it, so we're documenting it. So Phil made $478 for the work week in tips. Now for super chats, Phil made $361 for that same time period, for a grand total of $839. Now, if the detractors, if the chargeback detractors weren't impacting Phil, he would have actually made $1,089 because, of course, that $250 gets removed from the tip totals. But again, these are numbers that Phil are reporting, and we have to account for that, so we have to adjust as we go. So yeah, Phil made $839, which was a significant decrease from the previous week, where he made $1,216. And the main impact here, folks, is the super chats. $478 compared to $918 from the previous week. So this is going to be a pretty boring week, but who really, let's not lie here. It doesn't matter whether Phil makes $2,000 in a week or $500. His day off is going to be boring as all hell. So nothing new there. Expect Cat to be home playing Skyrim and ordering some DoorDash, or maybe not even DoorDash. They may have to eat ham sandwiches with how abysmal the work week happened. And yeah, it's been pretty bad. I mean, he's playing Fallout 4, which is an old fucking game. I'm sorry. And the only reason why that's been viable is some dent comes in and drops a dent. And why I mean dent, it's either Dan the Man or OIC, dropping $30 and $50 tips. That's the only why it's viable. And then on the night streams, he's just resorting to begging. The last 3 days have just been him begging for tips. If you like my content, please support it. He's been coping with the bags for the last several days. Now I believe that's going to extend into next week, being that we hit the first of the month, and of course Phil's bills are due. They're due. Now someone DM'd me earlier today and said, hey, what's going on with WWE Champions? So I haven't updated WWE Champions yet, because Phil did go on a massive spending spree last week, or this week, where he was playing multiple there were multiple, what do you call them, like events that were going on. So it was difficult for TJ Gamebox to report out how much money he actually spent. My speculation, just based on the ranking points, is he probably spent $1,400 to $1,500. And based on his pattern of spending on WWE Champions, that would make sense. But since we don't have those numbers by TJ, I don't feel comfortable reporting them out. I'm hoping that he will come back and report that information, but if he doesn't, we'll just put a little asterisk and make a notation that we believe he may have spent this much in the estimate. So definitely we'll see that sometime next week. But we know with Phil, he's going to come back to WWE Champions and waste some more money. So stay tuned for those videos. That'll be popping off pretty soon. So yeah, it wasn't good for our boy Phil. His work week and the support was just not there. And then the memberships essentially have died out. The Argentinian detractors look like they took a break, and probably because they don't really need to drop any more memberships for quite a while. Last tally, I think they gave in 1,300 fake memberships to Phil. So yeah, I mean, he gets one or two gifted memberships every now and then, but nowhere near the numbers he received last year. So I'm not sure how he's going to make up for that income. You would think the super chats would increase, but that really hasn't happened. I mean, he's hovering between $300 and $350 in super chats for the work week. I mean, last week he got $298, and this week he got $361. So yeah, looking pretty bad for our boy Phil. So far for the monthly totals, Phil made $210 for May. And then for the end of the month, April, he made $5,856, which was a slight increase from the previous month. An increase of about $225. So it's funny because Phil was super excited yesterday. He talked about how the channel is back and how he had his groove back and the viewership is up and the income is up. No, not really, Phil. I mean, you can look at these numbers, and if you account for $200 being income being way up, yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it at all. And if we take a look at the viewership, now that's something Phil can probably hold his head up to. So we looked at the viewership for April, which the numbers did come in, and it looks like for DSP Gaming, he brought in 554,000 views, which was an increase of the previous month. We're talking nearly 180,000 more views. If you want to think of it in dollar terms, think of it this way: you make about $7 every 1,000 views you get, on average. That's a good estimate. So if Phil got an extra 100,000 views, you're probably talking about let's see, $70 for 10,000 views. So he may have made an extra $500 or $600 in ad revenue for April for DSP Gaming. That's what it equates to. And then DSP React saw a bump as well. He had 41,000 views this month compared to the previous month where he only got 15,000. And then Throwback is still garbage. Throwback, he got 32,000 views, and last month he got 31,000 views. So yeah, that's still garbage. So total views for the three channels, Phil made 627,000 views compared to 422,000 views the previous month. So you're looking at 200,000 views. Phil made probably if we're looking at 200,000 views, we're looking at roughly about, I'll say probably about $1,000. About $1,000 in revenue that Phil got in ad revenue, which, yeah, it's something. It's better than the previous month, but when you look at his totals for his tips and all that, he's still falling way behind. And let's not forget, the memberships are just gone. He's not going to be able to recover, especially if the people keep hitting, if the Argentinian detractors keep hitting him with these member bombs. It's just, he's going to have to find another source of income to make up for that money. Maybe Raid Shadow Legends is looking for a sponsor, a spokesperson for them. Maybe he can make up money there. Okay, so far for 2024, Phil managed to make $239 in tips. For super chats, he's made, I'm sorry. For tips, he made $17,239 compared to last year where he made $17,756. And then in super chats, and this is where he's hurting, he made $5,490 so far. And if you compare that to the previous year where he made $7,429. So his grand total for 2024 is $22,729 compared to last year where he made $25,014 for a net decrease of 9%. Again, he hasn't moved away from that 9% in months. So expect that number to climb because, yeah, I don't know what he's going to play in May and in June. What's really out there. he may need to play Stellar Blade. So for 2024, he made $22,729. And if we compare that to 2022, where he made $34,397 for a net decrease of negative 34%. That's only 2 years ago. Not even, that's a year and a half ago, pretty much. Or 2 years. You can say 2 years. 2 years, and his income is negative 34%. And that's just tips and super chats. And let's not forget that tips and super chats bring in the bulk of his money. That probably accounts for about 70 to 75% of his revenue every month. So if that's down, you know ad revenue is going to be down because the views aren't just there. They're not there for Phil either. So he's not making any additional ad revenue. The memberships are all but gone. I mean, you got your handful of 200 dents that pay every month on a recurring cycle. But that's it. He's not getting any gifted memberships. No one's re-upping, or no one's bothering to buy a membership because they know they can get one for free from the Argentinian attractors. So Phil needs to figure out what he's going to do. He may need to up the price for his memberships to kind of kill the gifted memberships and do a 2-tier where he'll do an Argentinian tier, and then he'll increase the price for his basic membership, increase that to $5.99. That way, anyone that really wants a membership will have to pay the additional $1 for the $5.99 membership, which of course no one's going to do because Phil's not giving them anything. What is he giving them? Emotes and crown badges? Who gives a shit? Who cares? Anyway, that's it, folks. It's a kind of a mixed bag for Phil. I think more bad news than good news. And yeah, so expect him to complain and bitch tomorrow on the podcast about not having any money to do anything, and expect more begging this work week because of course the 2 big bills are due next Saturday. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.